What is happening, guys? It's your boy TC back with another video. So that was absolutely amazing. That makes that 10 wins in a row, and that's in regards to the game against Leicester on Monday night. Of course, this review's coming slightly a bit later than usual, but what a fantastic win. Basically, what it looks like is the team has developed some sort of resilience really this season. We're not putting our heads down if we do go behind. Of course, as we all know, the score ended up being 3-1 to the Arsenal when we played Leicester in the league. And usually, if you go back to last season, in games like that, we would have certainly buckled and we would have ended up losing the game, as well as the fact that Leicester ended up taking the lead early on. But what a fantastic result. 10 wins on the trot. That's not been done in about 11 years or so. So fantastic run of form that we currently find ourselves in. Let's just talk about the starting lineup, of course, on the day. So in goal, we did have Bernd Leno, who came back in goal, with Hector Bellerin at right back. The defenders, we had Mustafi as well as Rob Holding, who's continued his duties in that particular role. At left back, which was absolutely puzzling and surprising to me, we ended up seeing Lichtsteiner. I'm not too sure what's happened with Monreal or Kolasinac. As far as I was aware, Kolasinac had returned to fitness and Monreal was certainly fit the last time we played about 2 weeks ago, but I must have missed the news or something, and it turned out to be a surprise that Lichtsteiner ended up starting the game. In midfield, we had Xhaka and Torreira. The three behind the striker were Iwobi, Ozil and Mkhitaryan, and the lone striker up there was Lacazette. So let's just talk about the game overall. So in the first half, Leicester were bringing the game to us, and they actually took the lead. They did deserve to take the lead at that point, and that was through an own goal. But it was a fantastic run by Ben Chilwell on the left-hand side. He was sort of playing as a left midfielder. So when Leicester was attacking, Leicester was sort of playing a back three, if you like. So their fullbacks were very high, and they were causing us a lot of problems, which meant that in midfield, we weren't really settling and keeping the ball. This is within the first half alone. So obviously Ben Chilwell found himself in space, and he ended up scoring, well, assisting that goal, if you want to call it that, through an own goal from Hector Bellerin. Hector Bellerin just got the slightest touches. That obviously put Bernd Leno on the wrong foot, and the ball ended up finding itself into the back of the net. But as soon as the goal went in, as mentioned at the start of the video, we found ourselves being extremely resilient this season. I think this is something Unai Emery has been working on. He's definitely trying to instill this in his players. Don't put your head down, keep fighting, keep trying to play your game, and the results will certainly come. And obviously the team started to press a bit more, and eventually that goal came, and that was courtesy of Mesut Ozil, and that was through a Hector Bellerin assist. So Hector Bellerin definitely redeemed himself. He ended up getting 2 assists on the night after that particular own goal. When that first goal went in, I was pretty much thinking, oh, here we go again. Are we going to lose this game? But that wasn't the case. So Ozil ended up getting on the score sheet, and that finish, that particular goal that he scored, that finish wasn't difficult. It looks like he took it in his stride, but he had to open up his left foot, and he pretty much just tucked it in right into the corner. The ball came off the post, and the keeper had no chance whatsoever. You could see Kasper Schmeichel having a go at his defenders and people around him. And I'm guessing what he was saying at that particular point was he should have done a better job in regards to closing down. But that finish Mesut Ozil made was not easy whatsoever. It was a sublime finish. Of course, he's my man of the match. We will be discussing Ozil shortly, but fantastic finish, great assist. And in regards to Bellerin himself, his crossing has significantly improved this season. His crossing is so much better this season. It's absolutely unbelievable. If we had that player last season, maybe that season would have turned out slightly a bit different. But his crossing is magnificent this season. So we ended up going into the halftime at 1-1, courtesy of a Mesut Ozil goal. But Mesut Ozil himself, the first half didn't have the greatest of games, but once he scored that goal, his confidence started to rise. You could see that when the team came back out in the second half, he was absolutely magnificent, trying to make things happen. He was running. And just a quick stat for you guys as well, the team has certainly increased the running distance per player each game in comparison to last season under Arsene Wenger. So again, I do believe this is down to the fact that everyone in the team seems to be closing things down. And if you do notice, when the first goal went in from Leicester, that is, Lacazette was just right next to Hector Bellerin. Obviously, Hector Bellerin had been sucked in closer to Jamie Vardy. Didn't see the runner on the other side. Of course, Lacazette was trying his best to try and track him down. But it seems as if there's a lot more running, a lot more closing down as a unit, which is something that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. This has definitely improved us significantly this season, and it's very, very noticeable due to the results that we've been obtaining so far this season. So the score was at a deadlock at 1-1, and then Unai Emery, yet again, very, very brave, made a couple of changes, jigged it about. But the most surprising change there was Leicester coming off. And obviously Aubameyang ended up coming on, and as we all know, he ended up getting a brace. So fantastic impact sub. The same can be said in the Fulham game, and of course he came on. Within 30 minutes, the guy had scored 2 goals. Absolutely amazing. So the second goal, again, that was assisted by Hector Bellerin. Beautiful cross. Aubameyang found himself in acres of space, but let's just point out the pass to Hector Bellerin for Mesut Ozil. It was a sublime pass yet again. Brilliant, brilliant weighted pass through to Hector Bellerin, who was running at pace, and he just crossed it into the box. Aubameyang was in space, plucked it into the back of the goal, and we found ourselves 2-1 up. So as mentioned, that pass from Mesut Ozil was absolutely magnificent. I'm certainly guilty of criticising Mesut Ozil when he has a bad game, but when he turns up the way he turned up today, you've got an absolutely world beater on your hands. He's unplayable when he plays the way that he played last night against Leicester. But again, fantastic through ball to Hector Bellerin to cross it in for Aubameyang, and before you know it, we were 3-1 up. But this goal, the third goal, was absolutely magnificent. I do believe that this will rival that Fulham goal. This was a team goal. Of course, it started off at the back with the keeper. The ball was played through into the middle, ended up on the right-hand side of the pitch, and eventually it found its way to Mesut Ozil in the box after a cute little flick from Lacazette. And the chip Mesut Ozil made over the keeper, again, not the easiest thing to pull off. It was on the outside of his boot, flicked it over the keeper. Again, Aubameyang was in hand to tap it in and help himself to yet another goal. So Aubameyang has actually got 15 league goals for Arsenal within 22 league games. And the only person that's actually reached 15 goals sooner than Aubameyang in a similar amount of time was, of course, King Thierry Henry, but Henry achieved that in 30 games. So we can see the player that we certainly got on our hands, and this could certainly be part of that Arsene Wenger legacy in terms of actually leaving us Aubameyang. What a fantastic signing. I can't actually say anything else really. He's obviously proving himself on the pitch. And another brilliant stat in regards to Aubameyang, he has been involved in 21 goals in 22 games overall since he joined Arsenal. So if he's not scoring goals, he's definitely helping to create the goals. He's an absolutely fantastic player. But my man of the match, of course, was Mesut Ozil. So I want to talk about the unsung hero of the day. I'm not too sure if any of you guys was watching Lucas Torreira during the game, but Torreira was absolutely outstanding in my opinion. He wasn't giving Leicester any breathing space whatsoever, breaking things down when possible, and he was absolutely unplayable in my opinion. He was absolutely fantastic. I do run the risk of repeating myself, but Torreira is that player that we've been missing. Whoever went out there and identified Torreira, let it be Mislintat, let it be anyone in the club, they did an absolutely amazing job. He was completely outstanding today. He bossed the midfield. It allowed Xhaka to sort of make those 1 or 2 mistakes. Of course, Xhaka himself had a good game. He was key as well in that midfield area, intercepting things. Of course, he ended up taking a few set pieces here and there, which I would have liked him to score, of course. But Torreira is allowing Xhaka to actually thrive and flourish within that particular midfield area. And we've got a good partnership with those two now. We found a great balance, but my unsung hero from the match itself was definitely Lucas Torreira. So this allows us to apply the pressure or keep the pressure up with the teams at the top. We are still lying 2 points behind. We've got Crystal Palace next, but after that, I think we do have Liverpool in the league. So that will be the huge test. If we can get past Liverpool, then we can certainly have a good measure of where we are as a team in terms of how far we've come since Unai Emery has taken over at the club. But so far, so good. 10 wins in a row. Fantastic, fantastic win against Leicester. But as usual, guys, please do let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel, please do make sure that you do hit that subscribe button. So once again, guys, it's your boy TC from I'm Gonna Talk TV, and I'm out.